Wait on a few people to pile in here. Let's see if I can share this. We got a donut in here so far. Bye bye, Miss American Pie. Oh, look, Jerry Loves Freedom. Watch live now. Sunday Fun Day. Copy. We got to check that out, man. Let's go, old Fanny.
Heard of that guy?
Look at that. I'm watching the stream. Get over there.
We're live. We're live, folks. Put it on my nostril.
Trent, look at all shaved up, bro.
That's because the camera's so far. My shaver died, so it's it's not very great. So we'll just stay away from the camera.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know where my charger is either. I just like whatever. We'll just go with it.
What's up, everybody? Sound off in the comments, please, and thank you. I love the sound of nature, backpacker. I just love it, man.
I feel like I'm in my element.
Yeah.
Backpacker sounds like there's Snow White's in the background. Tweet, tweet, tweet.
We're gonna call Trent Eminem now, Fanny.
I used to dye my hair in high school blonde, and I would do just exactly like this. Actually, I don't look a whole lot different than back then.
Well,
we need photos, bro.
Well, bro, you look like you haven't reached high school yet. That's why you look like you're 15.
That's fine. That's
a
good sign.
That's a great sign. Yes.
Oh, my niece, she was off visiting my brothers up in Mankato, which is like 2 hours from here. And she came back, and I had my normal mustache and whatnot. And she's like, no, put it back.
We got a few in here. Go ahead and sound off in the comments, guys. Is that
a shower behind you?
Michelle, happy Sunday, everyone. Here watching on TV, no doubt, Michelle. Michelle, the little troublemaker. How are you, man? Michelle, I'm very close to you, by the way. Well, much closer I was before. Do you guys really hear all the chirps? Yes, absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, I gotta try. By the way, Michelle, just the people want to know, people want to know. Are you coming to the Vegas conference? A lot of people have been asking me that. Let us know. We're gonna talk about that too. So, anyways, guys, we're here. We took a little hiatus last week for Easter, so we haven't talked in a while. So, how you guys doing, and how was your last 2 weeks?
Last 2 weeks are great. I know Trent had a birthday.
I did. I'm old.
And
he's 15.
Yeah. Yeah. He got those good genes. But it was good. It was productive. It was just we're trying to get outside a lot more. And the chickens are doing good. Work's doing good. Got a new lawnmower. It hurt how that price hurt a little bit, but you gotta spend money to make money. So
he turned 12.
Absolutely.
And he hurts my heart.
Mm-hmm. How about you? How about yourself, Trent? How was your
It's getting warm. I like it. But even all week it was still only in the 40s, 50s when I worked. But then today it hit like 75-ish, 80. It's pretty good.
Wow, okay. Jason, what's good, man? How are you? And Michelle, unfortunately, is not coming to the Vegas trip. And I am very sad right now about that. For all the people that were wondering, Jason, what's good, man? How are you? Good to see you guys, man. Well, yeah, we're here for episode number 4?
6? I have no clue.
Not clip. No,
I think
not
it's
clip.
6.
Actual episodes. Is it 6?
I think it's 6.
Well, it depends if you want to count our pilot.
Yeah, that's usually where we get confused if we count it or not.
Mm, yeah, you're so cute. Hey, I was just asking. A lot of people were asking Michelle. And they're gonna be very disappointed, man. Very disappointed. Blimp C, he says. Not, I've heard of Pimp C, but Blimp C.
Is that like
Now who would
Pepsi?
that be? That's the troll, guys. But anyways, a lot of stuff happening. Bitcoin is a cruising for a bruising, and I am. I got to be honest, guys. I'm not the happiest right now that it's at this price, but it is what it is. What do you guys think about Bitcoin sitting over 70 for the last few days? Is that a big deal? Is it a nothing burger? Why and how you feeling about it?
I'm good with it. I bought a crap ton today.
I don't think it really means anything. It's like kind of like what we said last week and the weeks prior to that was it's with the current status of everything of what's going on, it's just reacting to the markets. And when that ceasefire thing fell through, it was like on the dot. If you look when that report came out, and then you look at the wick, I mean, it was pretty straightforward. So it's still ranging like we talked about on probably our first episode. We gave it a range between 60, 61 to 70, 71, give or take. And it's just ping pong and it's just crap. It's just doing its thing. So
I don't think it's going anywhere until midterms. I think it'll just stay ranging. I mean, I'll probably give it a little bigger range, maybe like 60 to 80, but until we do something or like something significantly happens, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I feel the same way, and you're right. We are ranging. We did hit. I believe we hit 74 for a second. I believe 73 something. I could be mistaken. Vic Shoots, how are you, sir? Welcome in, man. And yeah, we're on the high end of the range right now. But like
mm,
Trent said, maybe nothing will happen until midterms. Of course, if there's a semi, black swan event, or if you will, nothing, not big, but just something small that can change things. But what it's showing to me, to be honest with you, it's showing how steady Bitcoin is now, right? It's just so like, even during the tough times, it's, you know, if you'd have told me a war was coming in 2026, and I would have guessed, I would have thought Bitcoin would have crashed even further, because again, the crash from 126 to 60 something happened before the Iran war. So it's
That, that
holding
was a
steady.
that was a tariff crash that brought us down.
Yep.
yeah, and I think that from a chart standpoint or from a standpoint of building support and overall structure within the chart and Bitcoin itself, with stair steps out, charting and building those resistance levels, it's just building new foundational points. And I just think that that is 100 times better than just shooting up or shooting down. You just built so much resistance zone. So over time, as you know, with gold, when gold first started, it was very volatile. But as time increased over the years within the charts and the market, it's stabilized. It's stabilized a lot more. If you go to the early gold charts, it was volatile as all hell, similar to Bitcoin. And so, yeah, so I think this is all a positive, great thing. Yeah, of course, we want to see the, price go up for obvious reasons, but then we don't. So it's just, it's really just accepting it for what it is and understanding that we're just building structural support, which is, I think, overall a good thing.
I don't even feel like it's been all that volatile. Yeah, honestly, it feels pretty stable in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. Especially as of late after that quote unquote tariff crash. But when you zoom out, which is it's sometimes it's hard to do because we're like podcasters slash YouTubers slash whatever. It's difficult to zoom out because we talk about it and look at it and think about it on a daily basis. But when you do zoom out on it and you really look at it from a long term, I'm always trying to look even saying till 2035 or 2036 is still relatively short term. But to me, the mid to long term, I guess 2035, when I look at it, I say this is just a blip and this is nothing. And I think these prices are going to be much, much different in that next decade, in the mid 2030s, because the world is just going to look so different and we're not going to be able to recognize the world. So I just think, again, I said it in my Satoshi Saturday yesterday that I don't care if it's in the 70s, low 60s, mid 60s, mid 70s. It's just they're giving this shit away to me. You're getting 1,400 units for $1. I mean, again, I think in 10 years, it's going to take a lot more dollars to get 1,400 than $1, in my personal opinion. But
The real question is, are we in the bear market or are we just in a dip? That's really honestly, I just think we're in the bear market right now, and we'll start climbing out in a few years.
that's a good question. What do you think about that, Anthony?
Yeah, I was gonna say this too, so it worked out perfect. I think we're going way lower. I think we'll go back down to the 50s. For sure, go back down to the 50s. You know, I try not to do the whole bear bull market thing, but essentially, you know, it kind of it does feel like it's going to go back down. And you know, the thing is too is it's like, you know, we do focus on the how many sats you can get for $1, which I think is phenomenal. But when you think back to when it was like in the 30s and the 20s, and you got it at 25 or 30 or 31 or 16 or whatever, like it, you know, it was great, but it where we're at now, it didn't really matter. Just like now, we're gonna buy it at 70, we're gonna buy it at 80, we're gonna buy it at 90, we're gonna go back to 70 again, and then when it shoots up to 250 plus whatever, we're gonna look back at that and be like, oh, we were just buying these little
I bought at 126 and I don't feel bad about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, like Sailor said, I'm buying the top.
Yeah,
Because
man.
honestly, when they say the top, it's like, what is the top? There is no top. There is no bottom. It's just all relative to the time frame and the time period you're in at that time. But yeah, so Bitcoin's doing what Bitcoin does, obviously, and then obviously in world news, we're going to switch topics here for Trent, the editor. We're going to talk about the Strait of Hormuz and the big news of the day of Trump coming out and saying what he said. And I'd like to watch a news clip of that, if you guys don't mind. This is on Maria, forget her name, Maria Shariva, whatever her name is, on Fox News. She had Trump on today. And I'd like to look at that, and then we'll break. It's a 34-minute long video. We're not going to watch the whole 34 minutes. And we'll break it up, and we'll see what President Trump had to say about the Strait of Hormuz and what he just said about Iran. Let's take a look at that.
And we begin this Sunday morning with breaking news on the war in Iran. President Trump announcing moments ago a naval blockade of the Strait of Hormuz is beginning. Coming up in moments, President Trump will join me in an exclusive interview to give us the very latest on the war on Iran, as high-level talks between the United States and Iran have concluded with no deal. It was the first direct talks between the two countries in a decade, and the highest level talks between the two since the Islamic Revolution in 1979. The talks beginning on Saturday and lasting 21 hours in Islamabad, Pakistan. Vice President J.D. Vance was in Pakistan leading the U.S. delegation, along with...
That's a good thing for J.D. Vance, by the way. By the way, when I heard a 21 hour meeting, I'm like, was that straight 21 hours? I'm guessing, right?
I think so.
Yeah, they were trying to get that stuff done, man. It's just funny. I was 21.
Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, as a fragile ceasefire has been underway between the two sides since Tuesday, after President Trump agreed to give Iran 2 more weeks to open up the Strait of Hormuz or face further destruction. Now the president will implement a naval blockade on the strait. Here's Vice President J.D. Vance after the talks in Islamabad this morning.
We have been at it now for 21 hours, and we've had a number of substantive discussions with the Iranians. That's the good news. The bad news is that we have not reached an agreement, and I think that's bad news for Iran much more than it's bad news for the United States of America.
Yeah, off camera, me and BTC Backpacker was talking about that. Hey, Grasshopper, how are you, man? And Dean, what's up, brother? yield curve control will lead to another big print. Yes, I agree with you, sir. All the way from Australia. And Backpacker had something interesting to say about Iran and the nuclear stuff. Backpacker, you want to say what you said earlier?
What was this in regards to again? Repeat that.
Sorry, it was regards to how Trump basically knew what they were going to say about.
Yeah, absolutely. So we all know he plays 4D chess. It's nothing surprising. Trump knew, and the administration essentially knew that this was going to be a nothing burger. So I think because Trump and the administration, more so Trump, has been getting so much pushback because TDS, he wanted to try to give an opportunity to say, hey guys, check it out. Here's an offer. Let's try to make this work. Let's see if we can negotiate. Here's what's we're gonna do. This 2-week, ceasefire. Let's do some talks. And I felt like a lot of that was really, he knew it wasn't going to go anywhere. And a lot of it was to almost even appease the media, appease people who maybe were on the fence of thinking like, oh, should we be in there? Should we be doing this? The fact of the matter is we've gave them an opportunity. For us who understand, know that was never going to happen. I felt the 2 weeks was extremely generous. And then, so now that the cards have been placed on the table, and now that we're in a position now to be like, hey guys, we gave you the opportunity, the Strait of Hormuz, we were just going to oversee, make sure everything's run smooth, make sure ships aren't getting bombed or pirates aren't going on board and all this stuff. We were just going to literally just kind of take a step back and be like, monitor the situation. Now, the negotiate, number one, and number two is you can't negotiate with terrorists. Because these people are terrorists, okay? I'm not talking about Iran. I'm not talking about the Iranian people. I'm talking the IRGC and all the militias and all the proxy groups. These guys are absolute terrorists. You can't negotiate them. We already know this. But now we're going to go in here, and now the ball's in our court. And we're going to say, hey, this is the way we're going to play. Now, you don't have to like it, but this is the way it's going to be. We given you the opportunity. You chose to jack it off and say the hell with it and want to, put the uranium. I mean, it's just crazy the stuff that they put out there. And you've seen that post of the negotiations, the things that they were trying to do. It's just it's absurd. And so anyways, long story short, we're going in there. Now we're taking control of it. We're going to set up shop and we're going to handle business. Now, how is this going to be overall conducted? Things on the water tend to move a lot slower than they do on land in regards to being able to see all these vessels, to know what's coming through, to know if people are even flying proper flags. We don't know what's going to be on ships. We don't know if there's going to be private sales going on, whether that be Bitcoin, US dollars, or whatever. So there's a lot of variables here. This is the part that gets interesting because with all these variables, this can play out a numerous amount of ways. And not to mention, we know China, with potentially them stepping in and giving guns to the regime. Can't prove it. We don't know for a fact, but if they do, that's a whole nother animal. So it's going to be really interesting to see the way this all plays out, but we know that the deadline is tomorrow at 10 a.m. I don't know if it's Eastern, but that's the window. And so, I mean, it's going to all kick up again. It's going to get crazy.
Yeah. You got anything to add to that, Trent?
I mean, basically with a blockade, to make it effective, you almost have to board every ship that goes through. It's going to be a slow crawl, but really with the amount of oil the United States actually gets through the Strait of Hormuz, it's only like 2%. So really we're just jacking the prices up of everybody else's oil. So, I mean, the only reason our oil is being so effective right now is Wall Street. They're just jacking up, trying to make. They're just trying to make a buck because we have oil. They're just not using it.
Yeah, thanks to Trump and drill, baby, drill.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with everything you guys said. And again, he is playing 5D chess. And when he's negotiating, he's talking to the people, which we're going to get into in this interview with Maria Bartiromo. He's not just talking to the American people; he's talking to Iran. And again, the IRGC, I think the layers that we're at now, because I think we've gotten rid of 3 layers of leadership now. I think we're on like the 4th layer or something like that. I've lost count. I don't understand why these guys get together in one room, because you do that, they're going to blow you up. Um, you know, I think the more and more of them get killed, the more it'll be less radical, if you will. They're all radical, and they're all, you know, I can't say what I want to say, but they're religious people that are very into what they think, and they believe that there's going to be something beyond their life here, and you can't tell them any different. Hold on, I think we got a zap here. I can't send to the show's wallet. Okay, Jenny sent in 1234 sats. Thank you, Jenny, and welcome in, Jenny. Legendary.
Thank you,
And
Jen.
she said, yes. And she says, I can't. Hold on, wait for it to log up. She says, I can't send to the show's wallet. Huh.
I'll check into it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jenny. But yeah, so he's negotiating, flip. He's negotiating really well through them. And I think, like you said, to piggyback off of you, and we're going to get into the video here in a second, that he is negotiating. So when he did the first part of it, there's a bunch of parts of it, but let's go back a few days ago when he said, I'm going to blow up the whole thing and I'm going to kill everybody. Obviously, he wasn't really going to do that, obviously, but of course the liberals and the lefties went crazy. Oh, he's going to commit a genocide and blah blah blah. Then when he turned around and didn't do it, then they said, oh well, look, he changed his mind, he's a pussy and blah blah blah. I'm like, well, you're mad because he didn't do the genocide, or what do you like? These people, again, I'm going to say this. We love you too, Flipper. Thank you. It was just spinning and spinning. Oh, okay, Jenny. Thank you. Sometimes Wilder Satoshi does that. But when you're right now, the Democrat Party is stuck between a rock and a hard place, because they don't stand for anything, and they're just completely against Trump. And I'm not saying everything Trump does is complete common sense and complete greatness and stuff like that. But when he does do something common sense wise, and it is clearly and obviously and objectively good for the country, they're against it because it's Trump. And it's like, bro, he ended the war against Hamas. He ended that. He's doing all these things, and you're just against it because it's Trump, not because it's a bad thing. And when you put yourself in those kind of positions, it's just really, really bad. All right, so we'll get some more commentary after we watch a little bit more of this video.
Joining me now live on the telephone with the very latest is the nation's 45th and 47th President of the United States, President Donald J. Trump. Mr. President, thank you so much for being with me this morning. I know that your time is limited, and we appreciate you making the time to explain all of this to our audience. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Maria.
Mr. President, can you explain to us what is going on right now with the blockade in the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, we're going to be blockading. It'll take a little while, but it'll be effective pretty soon. And we had meetings yesterday. They, as you said, lasted 21 hours. That was a long meeting. We had some very, very good representatives, as you know, JD and Steve and Jared. So we were well represented, but we didn't get there on the important issue. They want to have nuclear weapons. They're not going to have nuclear weapons. I've been saying that for 30 years. I would never allow that to happen before I was in politics. And that country will not have nuclear weapons. Most countries shouldn't be allowed to have, but that country will not have nuclear weapons.
So, Mr. President, was that the red line there? Can you explain to us what went on in these talks? What did the United States ask of Iran, and how did they react?
Well, they reacted. It was very interesting. It started off weak. They came in like they had the cards, but they don't have the cards. Their army, their whole military is obliterated. The whole place is obliterated. And, as you know, levels of leaders are gone. They're literally gone. Khomeini's gone. The whole thing is gone. The whole place is gone. They have one thing that they can do. They can say, well, gee, we're going to put a mine someplace just a mine. We'll drop 1 mine, 2 mines, 10 mines. And that will, if you have a ship that costs $1 billion, you'll say, well, I'd prefer not getting whacked by a mine, losing my ship, or damaging it badly, at least.
Yeah, and that's all they have, because like he said, the Navy's gone, The Air Force is gone. According to Trump and Secretary of War and Fox News and people on the right. So I'm going to say that with a caveat. But if all that's true, what do they have left? They have only, again, in their bag, because they don't have the cards, like President Trump said, is to strangle the world economically. So you're trying to strangle America economically, but you're also strangling the whole world economically with this bottleneck in the Strait of Hormuz, and you're causing a big uh, turnout of people going against you because, again, like the Bitcoin technician said eloquently, we don't need that. We only got a certain percentage of our oil coming from there. We frack our own oil. We don't need that. Most of it comes from our NATO allies and people over there. So when you're putting a chokehold, now again, to be fair, they are letting a lot of the oil, China's oil and a few other countries' oil come through, but a lot of people in NATO is not getting it through. So when that's all you have is when you don't have any more land to air missiles, not anymore, but a lot of them, and you don't have a Navy or a Air Force, that's the only thing you have is trying to choke out everything, the world economically, and that's just not going to work long term.
And so that's a little bit of a thing that they can do. That it's military might and military power don't do it, but it's extortion, and they're extorting the world. We don't get our oil from there. We have so much. And one thing you said, and I don't know if anybody heard it well, but we have boats pouring up to the United States. They'll be filling them up, and they'll be leaving, and they're going to be packed with the best oil you can get, light sweet crude. They're going to have the best oil that you can get. But so that's interesting, and it's great because we have a lot of oil. We don't get any. I mean, literally last year was 1%. We did that as a favor. We don't need the Strait. But other countries do. And I will tell you, while we're on the subject, we're very disappointed with NATO. We're very, very disappointed that they didn't come. Now they want to come and they want to help with the Strait, and it won't take long to clean it out. So we're going to clean out the Strait, and they'll be able to use the Strait in not too long a distance. But we had a very intensive negotiation, and toward the end, it got very friendly, and we got just about every point we needed, except for the fact that they refused to give up their nuclear ambition. And that's the only point, frankly, to me, that was the most important point by far.
And I want to ask you about that, and I will get to NATO as well. But, Mr. President, you wrote on Truth Social this morning saying that we will begin the process of blockading any and all ships trying to enter or leave the Strait of Hormuz. And at some point, we will reach an all being allowed to go in and all being allowed to go out basis. Right. So tell us what you're trying to accomplish with this blockade,
all in,
sir.
All out. Yep. It's called all in and all out. There'll be a time when we'll have them all come in and all come out, but it won't be a percentage. It won't be a friend of yours, like a country that's your ally or a country that's your friend. It's all or nothing.
Yeah, that's what we're just talking about. They were letting ships from China go through. That's Trump, man. Trump is a bad man for doing this. This right here is basically saying, hey, China, what you going to do about it? What are you going to do? Either you're going to come mess with us and attack us, or you're going to tell Iran, to back up. What do you guys think about this, man? The all or nothing situation.
It's a leverage play. I mean, you play ball or you don't play at all. We control the ball.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Real quick, guys, we got some zaps. Okay, we got a 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we know who that's from.
Oh, it did go through, Jenny. Thank you.
Yes, we got a 1, 2, 3, 4. We got a 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do you appreciate? From Spaceman.
Spaceman. That's right. Spaceman. Yeah, appreciate you, brother.
We got 1,000 sat zap. I do not know who that's from.
It was me testing.
Okay, I appreciate it.
BTC Satman. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Satman.
And then we also got a 12345. Wow.
Nico, Jenny, thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So we really appreciate that, guys. That means a lot. It definitely helps us out, and so it doesn't go unnoticed. Yeah, this is a power move, 100%. Like I said when I was speaking earlier, was that there's a lot of variables here. There's a lot of moving parts here. I mean, there's so as far as that goes, I'm just, how sustainable is it is really the question. It's gonna take a lot of military strength to do this. and it's not that we can't do it. It's how long can you sustain doing it. I almost feel like this is going to put another country or other countries in a position to need to kind of throw, step in the ring, because it's going to rattle some feathers.
And as an alternative, they can buy American oil.
Exactly. And that's a business move right there. 100%. And he set all this up with the fracking and, us being sustainable and trying to be energy efficient and all that. I mean, he doesn't just do that for no reason. It's not like it's like something we do because it's fun or we do because it irritates the left. It's, it's for reasons just like this.
During Biden, this would have crippled us.
Yeah.
Or
absolutely.
even Obama.
Yeah, because like you said, we weren't fracking, and also Trump has mentioned that too when he was talking about all the oil stuff. He said, "Hey, buy it from us." But what's the island called again over there at the Strait of Hormuz? Is it Karg Island?
Karg, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the play. I think he's gonna shut everything down, and I think he's gonna go and work in there, and because again, logistically, it's going to be very tough to sit there and obviously do the all in or all out or no one in, no one out or whatever. You can't sustain that clearly. So that's just a short term thing. I think he's going to go in there to funnel everybody that we want in and we want out. And I think this is also to teach NATO a lesson as well, because again, they weren't there when we needed it.
They should be buying American oil anyway.
Yes.
I agree.
Yep. All right, let's see what Trump says. And hello, somebody had a good question. What's up, Cool Kev? He said, Jerry, if the crypto bill gets shot down, I heard it won't go back to Congress for 2 years. Is this true? I'm not sure. Maybe you can look that up in the background, guys, if you want.
Which one is he referring to? There's so many.
There's a few. Are you talking about the Lummis bill?
Hi from Buenos Aires, Argentina. How are you? Good to see you, man. I think Satman is short for Batman. I think so too. Stack and Richie, what's up, bro? Good morning, Jerry. BTC backbacker, the Bitcoin technician and all. Good to see you. Good to see you too, brother. How are you, man? Very good to see you. And good to see you too, Scotty. Welcome in. Don't forget to smash the like. How about to subscribe, Jenny? You ever going to do that? Japanese passes budget's new record, 122 trillion yen. Wow. That's the budget for Japan, huh? Hi, guys. Hey, Flipper. You're not sure. Well, cool, Kev. If you got a question about something, you got to know what the bill is, brother. Let's continue.
Nothing. And that won't be in too long a distance. No, we're just bringing the ships up. We got a lot of ships, so we're bringing them up. We think that numerous countries are going to be helping us with this also, but we're putting on a complete blockade. We're not going to let Iran make money on selling oil to people that they like and not people that they don't like or what.
Yeah, and also charging fees to people that they don't like. They're literally charging fees. I'm like, bro, and Trump's not going to let that happen. It's like, okay. Oh, I'm subscribed to this show. Okay, good. But this show is actually on my channel now. So hopefully you did that.
No.
Whatever it is, it's going to be all or none, and that's the way it is. And it'll be, you saw what we did with Venezuela. It'll be something very similar to that, but at a higher level.
And Mr. President, you say that there may be a mine out there somewhere that nobody knows about but them, and this is world extortion. How will the United States ensure that the mines are removed in the Strait of Hormuz?
So we have minesweepers there now. We have highly sophisticated underwater minesweepers, which are the latest and the greatest, but we're also bringing in more traditional minesweepers. And so I understand is the UK and a couple of other countries are sending minesweepers. A lot of countries don't have minesweepers. Think of it. They had 28 mine droppers. What country has 28 mine droppers? 28 boats to drop mines. What country? They've been completely obliterated. They no longer. So we knocked out their entire Navy. They have 158 ships. They have 28 mine droppers. Every single one of them is at the bottom of the sea. Can you believe it? We did that in 4 days. Their Air Force is gone. Their if you look, anti-aircraft. All of their radars out. Anti-aircraft is their defensive program is all knocked out. They don't have anything. And you know the sad part is, and I can't say this is for you. We knocked out everything, including their leaders. Their military is gone. Everything's gone. Their missiles are down to a trickle by comparison. You know, we knocked out thousands of missiles. We knocked out hundreds of places where the missiles are built, different parts. They're pretty much gone. probably they say 85, 82%, 85%. Who knows what it is? But we knocked them out. We knocked out where they make the drones, and the drones are less effective now. And also, we have new machinery to kill the drones. You saw that, the computerized bullets they call it, and also lasers. The laser melts the drone. It's a beautiful thing to see. So we have a lot of stuff. But think of it. We win this thing conclusively. Even yesterday, they were saying, no, it was a complete obliteration. And when you read the New York Times, you think they're doing well. Oh, they're fighting very hard. It wasn't a hard battle. This was a very easy battle militarily. But when somebody says, we're going to drop a mine in the middle of the Strait of Hormuz, not much you can do to persuade a ship owner that has $1 billion ship that we're going to take a trip up the strait. Now, yesterday, you probably saw, we sent 2 highly sophisticated, beautiful, brand new destroyers right through the middle of the strait, and nobody did anything to us because what we do is we follow the weapon back, so it follows back and it knocks out the people on the other side. Literally within 3 minutes, they're knocked out. The technology is unbelievable, but we don't know whether or not they do, whether or not they put mines. They didn't talk about it yesterday. My inclination is to have a few, and I will tell you, it was a good meeting yesterday, really a good meeting, except for one problem, and it's 95%. They want to have nuclear weapons. It's not going to happen.
And this is a key point, Mr. President.
Okay, before we go on to that, let me just say this, because I said this in my video probably about 8 to 10 days ago when I went off on Trump and talked about his messaging and all this other stuff. I'm not saying every single word he just said isn't true. I don't know if it's true or not. Basically, the military's gone, the Navy, the Air Force, and all these things he just said. If you're just a regular person that's not all into this, and I've talked to people about this, and this is why I'm bringing this up. The first thing they're going to say is, well, if all that stuff is gone, then what's the problem? Why can't we get through the strait, right? If you have minesweepers, if all the military's gone, like you said, you eradicated Iran, all this, why is my gas prices high? I wish they had it doesn't have to be as high as Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, but they need to have somebody coming out, because Trump is not going to do it. He's just going to say, everything's great, everything's great. They need to have somebody to come out and explain, not in complete and utter crazy high-level details, but just tell it in a nice, simple way of, hey, this is what happened. This is why this is going on. Because the more people are informed and know, because again, when you're telling everybody everything is great, but the gas prices are down and the ships are stuck and they can't move and it's bottlenecked in there, it just makes you look like it's not good. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Am I crazy?
No, I think it's no, you're right. It's transparency, but it's transparency on a level that a 4th or 5th grader can understand. We don't need the big words, the buzzwords, the talking points. We get enough of that. So we need just simple, transparent communication. The one thing I can't stand with most of these politicians, and I'll say it even about Trump too, to a point, is that it's like regular people don't have conversations like that. Like, just talk like a regular, like, hey guys, so here's what's going on. Just lay it out nice and simple. They just get overly technical. So no, I agree with you 100%. Because everything's great, prices are up, inflation, shrinkflation, whatever, any other inflation, another tax we probably don't know about from somewhere. So it's hard to say, like, okay, you're saying it is. No, you're not wrong, but how do you correct that? How do you fix that? I mean, it's a communication, but who? Well, I guess the question I have for you is, who do you think in the administration would be the best person to relay these messages to something where the society or the American people would trust?
I have an answer. It's Admiral Brad Cooper. That's his job. He's the top admiral over the whole Iran conflict. If he says it, it happened. That's who you check in on.
Yeah, I like him.
So do I.
Me too.
Real quick, guys. Sorry. So we got just trying to catch up here. We got a Zap that came in for 67,890 sats. It does not say who it's from.
67,000?
Yes, sir.
890. Wow.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so much. I got a funny feeling I know who that was. Sounds like a St. Brosy to me.
Oh.
or AKA Gray Motion. Sorry, Gray Motion. I mean, St. Rosie. Oh, Stack and Rich also. Okay, BTC Beat says also Japan changed the classifying Bitcoin as a financial asset instead of a payment method. Wow. Strike doesn't let us send messages to world Waldo Satoshi. Is that true? I don't know about that.
I don't know. Well, I've had zaps come in. I don't know where they're sending them from, but I am able to receive messages via wallet of Satoshi. However, I don't know from the sender who they're sending from. I don't know.
Okay. He is a boss on the world stage, not with then lasers. I don't think so, Stack, and I think you can send messages.
I'm
I think you
testing
can.
it right now.
The Clarity Act bill only has 30% chance of passing. If this doesn't pass, I heard it doesn't go back to Congress for 2 years. Okay, the Clarity Act.
I
Gotcha.
double checked. Any act or any bill that does not pass Congress can be instantly voted on again. It doesn't get kicked back, but they have a schedule. So if it doesn't get back on the schedule for almost 2 years, that is possible.
Yes. I agree, Jerry, but there's a reason they aren't transparent. They tell us what they want us to hear. I completely agree. The problem is, again, people do think short term and they'll forget about this in 3 or 4 months. But again, we cannot be talking about this shit entering May or June, especially when it comes to the midterms. Facts, bro. Spin it. No spins on this one, man.
President, for those people out there who have not been following it as closely, can you explain to those people why it was critical for the United States to go into Iran? Can you articulate what was behind that move that was so important for the U.S. to go into Iran?
Yeah, so easy. The easiest question you've asked me so far. They can't have nuclear weapons. They have nuclear. They want to enrich what they have. They want to enrich more. As you know, we knocked out with the B-2 bombers. Had we not knocked that out, they would have had a nuclear weapon within 1 month after we knocked out. In other words, had the B-2s, those beautiful B-2 bombers, totally obliterated their 3 sites. They have 3 sites. And they are now deep in the earth with, tons of rock. Now, that material should be gotten, but we have cameras on it. We have satellites with Space Force. That was one of my beauties, Space Force. So important. But we're watching those. We're watching every single aspect of that area. They can't move without us knowing exactly what's going on. But it's deep down, and it takes a long time to get it out. It's an amazing attack. Had we not done that, they would have had, within 1 month from that date, they would have had a nuclear weapon.
Right.
If they had a nuclear weapon, they would have used it on Israel and the Middle East. Look, they went after 5 countries that were sort of neutral, I guess. I don't know how friendly they were, but they weren't in the line of attack. They dropped on UAE probably 1,800 missiles. They dropped on Saudi Arabia a lot, and they dropped on Qatar a lot. They dropped on Bahrain. They went crazy, and everyone was surprised. Actually, it was good for us because they all joined us immediately. At some point. I mean, they're either going to be petrified or they're going to join. They all joined, and they've been very helpful. All of these countries have been great, and Kuwait.
And this is the key point that I was getting to, and the reason that you feel they cannot have a nuclear weapon because they will use it. And that's what I wanted you to explain to the audience.
He says, Stack and Rich said, from Moon it works, from Strike it didn't let me add a message. Which one was yours? Which one was yours, Stack?
So when I try to do it with the QR code, it bypasses the message part. That's what's happening. But I wonder if you try from the banner, if it would let you do it.
Yeah, just like typing it in. Let's try that. Let's see. It's a good point. Yeah, because it does that sometimes. It does that.
Yeah, it jumps the window before it is where you add the message.
Yes.
You know what I love about this is like this is so like dial up issue where one day hopefully all these are going to just be like they're all just going to like work together.
Easy, yeah.
All right, so dial up doesn't work.
All right, so we get the point on that. We're not going to listen to his whole interview because he's just going to tell us how great everything is and he's the best. But it is good to have a strong leader. We have some adults back in the room, and it's so funny. It's like these a lot of these people on the other side of the aisle. I can add a message. Okay, good. Is when we had the shit show we had the last 4 years from 2021 to 2025, there was nothing said. when the gas prices were really, really high, inflation was really high, the border was wide open. We had no law and order. We just had a washing machine of money over there to Ukraine. Nobody said a word. And now we have, and I'm going to get your thoughts on this. Now we have lefties, Democrats saying that, because it's tax season, they're not going to pay taxes because they don't like, on the federal level, they're not going to pay taxes. Now, again, I'm not a pro tax guy. Obviously, I know you guys aren't. But I believe we do, should pay some, maybe.
But
I
I
don't
pay
know.
my taxes.
Yes, yes. So, what do you guys think about the other side of the aisle saying we're not going to pay taxes because they don't like the current administration?
I don't know. Is there another way to like throw a temper tantrum? Because that's what it seems like. I mean, I get the whole concept of like not like wanting to take a stand and not pay taxes and kind of like revolt and stuff like that. I get that, but they're not doing it for like a reason just because they don't want to pay taxes. They're doing it because they're trying to deliver or articulate in some way, shape, or form a message. I mean, with all due respect, and I know this is subjective, but I don't think it's going to fare well if it doesn't affect you until it affects you. And I think their gang is a little bigger than mine, and so it's not something a theory I really would want to test out personally. But to each their own. If somebody told me flat out they're not going to pay taxes or whatever, or they don't, then I support them because that's their right. That's your right as a citizen within this country. But it's just a temper tantrum.
Do I get to check on my tax form that I'm a Democrat, making me immune to taxes? Because I will switch right now.
Yeah. It's just crazy.
It's gonna be a F around and find out moment. And again, you hit the nail on the head, man. I've never seen a group of people just so angry and crying about something all the time. You know what I mean? It's just crazy, man.
Nobody's not paying their taxes. They're just tweeting about it as they have it already filed 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but didn't they get bent out of shape when people said they wouldn't tax the vax? Yeah, exactly. Take the vax. Exactly.
That's true.
They're all for taxes. How do you think they get free shit? Because people that actually work and contribute to society put the money into the taxes, and then all the people that aren't doing shit get it.
Yeah, it's the Mondami effect. I mean, look at the way that's panning out. It's working fantastic. I love that whole New York scene. I think it's phenomenal. I love it. It's literally like it's a sitcom. When you see that way everything's panning out over there with the free buses and free childcare and free whatever.
And
I love it.
Nothing happened.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody about inflation. I said, do you understand inflation? And do you know what inflation is? And they didn't. And I said, well, I have a little reminder of why inflation is bad. And let's just say Kamala Harris didn't explain it very well. And this is just a reminder of why we Bitcoin, guys.
What else are you going to do to fix this problem with inflation?
All right, thank you. Well, let's start with this. Prices have gone up, and families and individuals are dealing with the realities of that bread costs more, that gas costs more.
I can't.
You have to understand what that means. That's about the cost of living going up. That's about having to stress and stretch limited resources. That's about a source of stress for families that is not only economic, but is on a daily level, something that is a heavy weight to carry. So it is something that we take very seriously, very seriously. And we know from the history of this issue in the United States that when you see these prices go up, it has a direct impact on the quality of life for all people in our country. So it's a big issue, and we take it seriously. And it is a priority, therefore.
What else?
Wow.
This was on the campaign trail, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure I remember seeing this video almost a year ago.
It was longer than that. I mean, that was
a couple years ago.
Can't you say it better than that, guys? What do you think about that? Excellent.
She did great.
No shit, Kamala.
Again, I'm not trying to get all political with you guys. I know I get accused of that. But can you imagine that woman doing what Trump is doing right now?
She
No, but
short
look at
circuits as much as I do.
we just talked about transparency right there. That's definitely not transparent. That's something that should be anybody in Congress should be able to answer that question.
Well, she wasn't in Congress, so
or whoever. You know, it's just.
I mean, you talking about a woman that overachieved in her life. This woman was the vice president of the United States of America. That woman we just watched right there, and she was a couple of million votes away from being the president of the United States. Okay? Cool Kev says no such thing as inflation is dollar depreciation. Exactly, sir.
Yep.
That's the answer.
Exactly. And a lot of people, that what Kamala Harris just said, a lot of people think that is inflation. Now we got billionaire Ricardo Solanas. He's a big Bitcoiner. And he talks about fiat being a fraud, and he says maybe there's only one way to get out of that. Let's see what the billionaire has to say from Mexico, I believe he's from. I think. Let's see.
They don't realize they're inside the matrix. And for most people, they have never been educated. And they don't realize that they're in this trap, in this rat race where they will never be free and they will be forever slaves to the big government. So some people are fine being slaves. They don't mind it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I would like to say that most of us don't like it. We like to be free in control of our own decisions. And the sooner we get illustrated by Bitcoin, the better. That's why I just wrote that book, the Bitcoin Enlightenment, with some co-authors. And it explains my deep distrust and how I despise fiat. And how I think fiat is the biggest fraud around, and that the only way to get out of that fraud is through Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It makes you responsible. You got to learn to custody your stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing. Hey, my money is safe. It's in the bank. I'm a banker, I have a bank. I have 22 million customers.
Yeah.
And I know all about the risks. People think that they took the money to the bank, put it there, and that they're probably sitting in the vault in the backside of the bank. It's not like that. The money's gone.
Yeah.
It's invested in it's been loaned to somebody to buy a house.
Yeah.
That's what banks do,
That's exactly right. That's exactly.
So the banking system is also heavily reliant on the central bank as a lender of last resort. And, because we have the lender of last resort, then banks take on more risk than they should.
Yeah.
So there's an excellent book from the 18th century, 1800s, called Lombard Street. There's nothing new under the sun. Everything has been tried, discovered, and it's the same thing, If you extend credit without corresponding savings, if you mismatch investment horizon with the deposit horizon, there's going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's fundamentally fraudulent, right? Fractional reserve banking. By definition, it's an insolvent business practice.
Facts.
I mean, Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, it's a Ponzi. And it's actually not even fractional anymore, because now, back then it was like, they needed to hold 10% or something. Now they don't have to hold anything.
Exactly. Great point.
But
thoughts on that, guys? What do you guys think?
I'll go first. I find the message is good, but I really find it hard to swallow from a billionaire. He's talking about a rat cage and you don't want to be in the cage. He literally owns the cage. So I don't want to know. I like his message, but he needs a different deliverer.
Yeah, I think that it's kind of like what I talk about a lot. And I really do my best to try to find balance between, the current state of society, the current state of war, the current state of politics, but also like the mindset and the ideology we have to keep as people. So as much as the stuff that we're talking about, it does matter because Bitcoin is political. Okay. Bitcoin is political. But it's also just important for us we have to be grounded within ourselves, right? We have to be able to see it, to process it, and then properly disperse our message, our knowledge, our education, our YouTube channels, our videos, right? Our community. And I think that in Bitcoin is so important because that's what's going to get the other people in, right? So you go to your average Joe on the street, what's inflation? How does the dollar work? Do you know what the Federal Reserve is? You can go down all these little talking points and stuff. 90% of them are going to, they don't know, or they're going to answer the question in a false manner, and they may act like they think they know. So like for myself, I know for myself, I want to try to get better and do my best at being an educator and to try to speak in layman's terms, because we know that as Bitcoiners, we have a tendency of just going, man. We're just like, yeah, boom, talking points, and we're just going crazy. And these people are looking at us like we have three heads. So, I'll speak for myself, learning how to keep it elementary, learning how to keep it simple. And I think that's something we can all do our best to try to do, to be proper educators and proper influences and just good people to be able to help do those little elevator pitches, or you're standing in line door dashing, you see somebody there, little 2-minute conversation, right? Or whatever. So, yeah, I just think it's good for us to be able to sometimes try to take a step back from being so Bitcoin, because we see the picture and it's very frustrating to us. But we, just try to take a step back and deliver a simpler message to people who have literally no idea.
Well said. And that's the hard part. Again, I'm out of town and I'm with my family, and it's hard to not only pull back but also remember where everyone is in their learning journey, because they're at 0 and we're at like out of 100 and we're at like 35 and they're at 0. And I played the Kamala Harris video obviously to be funny, but a lot of people will talk about inflation that way. They'll word salad and have no idea what it is. The prices are going up. It's important. Blah, 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 all that stuff, right? But like Trent said with the billionaire guy, he's obviously we can't really relate to him because he is in the banking and stuff like that. But Stack and Richie said something pretty fair. He said, to be fair, he wasn't always a billionaire though.
That's true.
That's fair. Again, to be honest with you, I don't know a lot about him. All I know is through Bitcoin. I've always seen him doing interviews through Bitcoin. I don't know a lot about him. If you guys do, you can speak on it. But to me, the last time I heard before this one is he's thinking about putting all of his money into Bitcoin. And if he is a big banker like that, like he said, and he's got these, 22 million customers, maybe he should think about making a Bitcoin bank or something. Who knows if he'll do that or not. But everything he said, I agree with him. He said fiat is basically poison and it's messing us up, and people don't understand money. And it's funny that Robert Breedlove was giving him that interview because he has a podcast called What is Money? And people don't know what money is. I went back to the beginning with my sister-in-law a couple days ago, and I sat with her and I asked her that question, what is money? And she says, oh, it's, basically cash, long story short. And I said, well, I talked about bartering and understanding that. And then I talked about gold and silver and, walked her through the history and the 4 or 5 steps of money. And then she's like, wow, that's cool. But when you have a thing outside of this system in Bitcoin, it takes you down such a crazy different rabbit hole. It really does. And we just have to remember, just because we're not at the top level in Bitcoin as far as like educators and all that, no matter what level you're at today, you're much, much, much higher than everybody else. All right, guys, we've gone an hour. We really appreciate you guys coming in and checking out the Truth or Work podcast. We really, really appreciate you guys. We'll see you next Sunday. And next Sunday will be the final Truth or Work podcast before the Bitcoin conference that Trent will be front and center at. So, thank you guys so much for coming in and joining us. BTC Backpacker, Bitcoin Technician, do you have any last words for the audience?
You guys know how I like to do it. Do Bitcoin things, be a Bitcoiner, be a good person, stay humble, not only in Bitcoin to yourself and to your loved ones. Always strive to be the best version of you. Be an educator, put out content, take the leap of faith, and understand you can do great things in this world. You have value.
I would just say keep stacking, and I will be back tomorrow. So if anyone wants to hang out, I'll be here.
Yes, he will be there at
6
Eastern?
Central.
6 Central, which is 5 Eastern? No, 7 Eastern.
7 Eastern.
Yeah, okay. 7 Eastern, and then I will be 7 Eastern. I thought it was 2 hours before mine.
Sorry, bud.
Or are you coming in a little later?
No, that's my early time.
Is it? Okay. Thank you, Michelle, for the kind words. Stack and Reach said, these are only an hour. Love it. Thanks, y'all. Later, everyone. No doubt. I'm your stalker. I'll be there. No doubt, Fanny. Fanny loves Trent. And Trent does a really good job with the editing on his channel. He actually does it on his channel. So make sure you subscribe to the Bitcoin Technician and also subscribe to Anthony, who is AKA the BTC Backpacker. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate you. And again, we don't have any sponsors. So this QR code that's covering the top of my head and right down below Trent, that is our Wallet of Satoshi address. And that is our Truth of Work podcast strategic Bitcoin reserve. And the best way to show love and support is through Zaps that way. We appreciate it. I know we're a young channel. We're just growing, but we're going to be here for you every single Sunday, every single week. Jason says, bricked up front row at the conference. That's right, brother. Thanks, guys. No doubt. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys so much for showing up. The Truth of Work podcast will be here. We love each and every one of you, and we'll see you next week. All right? Peace and love, guys.